Sometimes, life challenges us when we least expect it. For Anthony, a dedicated and strong man, the day started like any other. He woke up early, prepared breakfast for his family, and gave his little son a familiar smile as he walked him out the door. Little did he know that a few hours later, his whole world would change. Anthony walked out of the office with a letter in his hand. The words were dry and sharp as a knife. Retrenchment. In just a few short seconds, all his efforts, hopes, and dreams of a stable future were swept away like dust. His heart felt like it was being squeezed. The gray sky above seemed to sympathize with his heavy mood. Every step on the way home was a constant internal dialogue. How can I pay the rent? How can I face my family and say I have failed? On the crowded subway back home, Anthony sat silently, head bowed, eyes vacant. The noise around him was like a heavy blanket, drowning him in a feeling of uncertainty and loss. At the third stop, a small but unexpected event changed everything. The train doors opened, and a pregnant woman stepped in. She struggled to find a place to hold on to amid the crowded crowd, her eyes shining with resilience despite her face showing signs of fatigue. Anthony, without thinking much, stood up to give up his seat. "Sit. This is for you," he said, forcing a smile despite his sadness. The woman lit up with gratitude. "Thank you so much," she said, her voice soft but powerful. That small act, though insignificant, was like a glimmer of light in Anthony's dark day. A small moment, but enough to ease the burden in his heart. The woman, named Felicity, began to talk to Anthony. Her warm voice was like a clear stream, gradually erasing the ripples of anxiety in him. Somehow, Anthony found it easy to share his story, the loss of his job, the pressure at home, and the feeling of emptiness that surrounded him. Felicity listened attentively, her eyes showing deep empathy without a trace of judgment. When Anthony stopped speaking, she smiled, her eyes full of encouragement. "Don't worry too much, Anthony. Life sometimes presents us with challenges that seem insurmountable, but each challenge contains an opportunity that we have not yet recognized." She took a business card from her bag and handed it to Anthony. "This is my husband's company. I will talk to him and introduce you. They are looking for someone with your experience." Anthony stared at the business card in his hand in amazement, not daring to believe this unexpected luck. "Thank you. I really don't know what to say." His voice was choked with emotion. Felicity just smiled softly, her eyes full of kindness. "No need to thank me, Anthony. You deserve better. Trust that everything will be fine." When Felicity got off at the next stop, Anthony remained seated, clutching his business card. For the first time in days, he felt something he had lost: hope. For the next 3 days, Anthony worked tirelessly to prepare for this opportunity. He edited his resume, practiced his introduction, and organized his ideas to present himself in the best possible light. On the day of the interview, he walked into the office with a racing heart but a determined look in his eyes. During the interview, Anthony realized a touching truth. Felicity had spoken of him with confidence and sincerity. Her compliments had helped him get this opportunity. The interview went well, and soon after, Anthony received a text message. "Welcome to our team." Anthony walked out of the office, a huge smile on his face. The world seemed to light up before his eyes. A small act from a stranger had changed his entire life. But the story doesn't end there. Anthony not only found a new job, but he also found a greater purpose in life. He started volunteering at a support center for those in need. He told his story to inspire others. Anthony realized that, in the darkest moments, a small but sincere act can become a guiding light. Kindness is not only a light in the darkness, but also the power to change lives, not just of one person, but of others. Anthony and Felicity's story is a reminder that kindness has the power to spread without borders. It can change a day, a life, or even the world. If this story has touched your heart, please like to spread this message to more people. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on other inspiring stories. Remember, the light within you can always brighten someone else's dark day. In life, some moments seem meaningless, but become the beginning of miraculous changes. Like Anthony, a small but sincere action became a ray of light in the darkest day, not only soothing his pain, but also opening an unexpected door. Kindness, even if it is just a small gesture, has the power to transcend time and space. It is like a seed. When planted, can spread into a forest of hope. And the amazing thing is, we all possess that power. Just think, can your act of kindness today change someone's life? Like Anthony's story, small kindness can create big changes. In the famous movie, Lord of the Rings, little Frodo carries the powerful ring through terrible dangers. One small person, one decisive action, and the world was saved. The question is, do you think you have the same power? Kindness doesn't have to be something big. It doesn't require you to have superpowers or do great things. Sometimes just smiling at a stranger, saying something encouraging to a friend, or giving up your seat on the train to a pregnant woman can be a ray of light in the darkest of days. And you know what's the most magical thing? Kindness never goes away. It's like a wave, spreading and spreading. Have you heard the famous quote by Mahatma Gandhi? Be the change you want to see in the world. But where does change start? From you, from the smallest and most ordinary things in your daily life. Imagine that just a word of encouragement you give to a colleague today can be the motivation to help them overcome great difficulties. Or a cup of coffee you offer to a shipper in the rain can warm his heart all day long. Those little things, though seemingly meaningless, have the power to change not just a day, but a lifetime. So why don't we try? Think of a moment when someone helped you without expecting anything in return. How did you feel? Happy, grateful, and encouraged, right? And now, let that kindness flow through you, spreading around. Because kindness not only brings meaning to others, but also helps you feel more optimistic and proud and live a more fulfilling life. Do you remember the last time you did something good for someone? Or has anyone ever surprised you with their kindness? Please share your story. We would love to hear the miracles from you. Don't forget, if today's story has touched your heart, click, like, share, and spread this message. Because the light within you can light up the whole world. A small act of kindness is like the first ray of light that pierces through the darkness. But what if that light not only warms you, but also leads you to a new door? Anthony started his journey with a simple act of kindness, but it was through his faith and courage to overcome difficulties that he realized that adversity is not the end, but the beginning of something greater. And you know, our lives are the same. Sometimes, challenges that seem insurmountable are the invisible hands that lead you to opportunities you never dared to dream of. But do you have the courage to move forward, to believe, in the light behind that difficult door? Difficulty is the door to new opportunities. Have you ever wondered if just one small action of yours can change the world? Sounds like a scene from The Butterfly Effect, right? But this amazing story doesn't come from Hollywood. It comes from the famous historical film Schindler's List. Remember, Oskar Schindler didn't start to save thousands of Jews. He just hired a few people to keep his factory running. It was a small decision, but from there, his kindness spread, making him a symbol of humanity. And you know what? Each of us can be a real-life Oskar Schindler, starting with a small act. Think about it. When was the last time you helped someone? Maybe you gave way to an elderly person, helped a coworker solve a difficult problem, or simply sent a text message to check in with an old friend. These things may not seem like big things, but they can mean everything to the recipient. Remember the story of Antony. By simply giving up his seat to a pregnant woman, he not only brought a pleasant moment, but also received an opportunity to change his life. Kindness is like a small pebble dropped into a calm lake. The ripples spread farther than you can imagine. Your action today can inspire someone, and from them, it will continue to spread. That is why Mahatma Gandhi said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." Kindness does not need to start with big things. It just needs to start with you, with the smallest things. Do you know what is the most interesting thing about kindness? It not only changes the recipient, but also changes you. When you help someone, even if it is just a smile or a gentle word, you are also sowing the seeds of peace in your soul. And be honest, have you ever done something good and felt like a superhero? That superpower is kindness that is spreading through you. So try starting from today. A word of encouragement, a small action, a sincere thought. Who knows? That action could become a turning point in someone's life. And don't forget, if you have ever received a small act of kindness that changed you, share that story in the comments section. Who knows? Your story could be an inspiration for thousands of others. Finally, if this story makes you feel warm, click like and subscribe to the channel so we can spread good things to everyone. Remember, this world needs more light, and that light can start from you. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this story. Truly, your presence here, the fact that you choose to spend precious moments to reflect and connect with us, is a wonderful thing. Sometimes, just knowing that someone is listening, sharing, and empathizing is enough to make all the effort worthwhile. You are not just an audience. You are the motivation for us to continue telling stories that touch hearts, spread light, and inspire love in life. Each view, each comment, each like of yours is like a small candle lighting up the path we are walking together. We are grateful that you have chosen to accompany us so that these stories do not just stop at the screen, but can also penetrate real life, creating small but meaningful changes. Remember, you always have the power to do miracles, not only for yourself, but also for those around you. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts and hope that you are always happy, full of hope, and spreading love every day.